Eleuthero is being COVID-free because we are adhering to the rules and regulations.
I have a number of male officers in my leadership team, and they support me wholeheartedly.
The stuff I used to do with my students, I can't really do anymore.
Now leads the nation with a growing number of COVID-19 cases. Good morning, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and this is the Morning Edition. Thank you so much for tuning in. Health officials continue to see more COVID-19 cases, with 36 of them recorded on Wednesday. 30 of them right here in the capital, pushing the overall numbers to 342. This is followed by the nation's second city, Grand Bahama, which saw 6 new cases for a total of 336. The nation's COVID-19 cases now stand at 751. Health officials continue to sound the alarm for residents across the Bahamas to help stop the spread of the virus. This morning, Deputy Chief Medical Officer Dr. Delon Brennan spoke to those numbers.
Seeing a decline in the numbers of new cases that are showing up in Grand Bahama, which is encouraging. We will get an opportunity to do some further data analysis over the next day and a half, and ideally we'll be able to present that to the Bahamian public. And if we really have seen enough of a trend that it could be encouraging, then our recommendations will then be based on those findings. But we do need to make sure that things remain in place, and then we'd be able to make a more thorough recommendation based on the things that were recommended for Grand Bahama, their approach, and whether they should continue with the rest of the Bahamas on its path, or would they be able to open up, with less restrictive measures starting even before the rest of the Bahamas does.
And transitioning to the nationwide lockdown, the new schedule is August 4th to the 19th, making provisions for shopping, access to health services, banking, medical care, and limited outdoor exercise movement, all requiring some degree of exposure to the public. Now, with the obvious need for the public to continue with life, is the COVID-19 task force satisfied that these measures are sufficient?
I think we have to, given that there has to be a balance, and we're not going to achieve the ability to just keep everyone inside and away from each other forever. I think this is an attempt to break the chain of transmission, minimize people's exposure to each other, and get a better handle on this. So for now, we think these measures are smart to take, and we would like to see if they are going to arrest the current trends that were going on. It's going to take some viewing and analysis of that to be able to make it and say, is it enough? Is it too much? Is it not? That's going to take a moment. But for right now, we're satisfied that it is a step in the right direction to get us where we need to go.
And with New Providence and Grand Bahama leading in the new cases here in the country, have officials observed any connection between patients that would suggest a kind of community spread or clusters?
For right now, we are still seeing a significant amount of cluster transmission, so around cases and their contacts. We get very few just community-based spontaneous cases that would suggest widespread community transmission. But with our numbers, we do have to be concerned about that. So it is still something that's in the front of our minds. But for right now, most of it is still related to known cases and their contacts.
A few weeks ago, when restrictions were lifted and persons were allowed to travel, there was a boat that would travel out of Grand Bahama into the United States, travel back. And then some of those persons are believed to have traveled to other places here in the country. Was that something that health officials was monitoring?
We did. We have been able to sort of track our chains of transmission to a number of cases of travel. So the initial cases were definitely within persons who traveled, then ended up spreading to persons within their community, their families, their workspaces, and now, those people who had never left but were infected by those persons are now infecting others as well. So it's showing in our chains of transmission that it started with travel, but it is not only people who travel.
Eleuthera among those islands recording no COVID-19 cases. Like other communities across the country, residents there are also on lockdown. Administrator in the Governor's Harbor District, Wilma Colebrook, says it's been a team effort by key stakeholders and agencies to fight COVID-19.
Eleuthera is being COVID-free because we are adhering to the rules and regulations that the Prime Minister set in place, and the community is being vigilant, and the police is patrolling the areas. And so I would like to say thank you to the residents, to the police, the nurses, and all of those support, the head of the department that is assisting in that regard. And they're quite vigilant as to who come on the island, asking questions, and when persons come, they, quarantine them. And so with the community, they see anybody strange on the island, then they would bring it to the police attention or the nurses' attention. But everything is in order in Central Eleuthera.
Colebrook says foreigners who visit Eleuthera are placed in quarantine for 14 days, a 14-day period at their homes, and locals who visit the island from Grand Bahama or New Providence are also monitored on Cupid's Key. Now, regarding the lockdown, the administrator says there are no major challenges at this time.
Everything is going well. The banks, the food stores, they are adhering to the rules and regulations set by the Prime Minister. They will be well equipped and supplied with, with the necessary food for persons. They're adhering to rules and regulations. They're letting persons in 3 at a time. They sanitize on your hand. When you go by BPL, they have sanitizer on the wall. In Batelco, they spray in your hands as you enter. And so we're trying to adhere to protocol.
And applauding the work of its leader, Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, on the decision to implement a national lockdown to address the recent spike in COVID-19 cases. An F&M release stated that as a doctor, Prime Minister Minnis understands the importance of protecting healthcare professionals on the front lines of the war against COVID-19 as well as all Bahamians. The Free National Movement also indicated that the Minnis administration knows that with hurricane season underway, the Bahamas cannot avoid taking the necessary steps to get the COVID-19 pandemic under control. The F&M release concluded that Prime Minister Minnis understands the stakes the country faces, and he will continue to prioritize the health and safety of Bahamians and work to bring comprehensive economic relief to the country in a responsible way. The coronavirus continues to impact employees across the Bahamas, leaving many of them on the unemployment line. Many of them in the nation's second city are a bit disgruntled over the assistance from the National Insurance Board. Here's Jamila Mizik.
In an interview with an employee at the Viva Club Fortuna Resort, reports are that many of them have been out of work since March, and some employees have yet to receive a payment from NIB.
We've been getting to run around every time we get up 6 o'clock in the morning to a line in order to find out what's going on and why we haven't received the money as we should. We have people in the office over here saying, oh, you guys, you all get money from Dorian. But the thing is, Dorian contribution, what we receive, have nothing to do with COVID. Because according to what we understand from our Prime Minister, he put $2 million through NIB to help hotel workers, taxi drivers, and store vendors. So the question is what we would like to find out. What is the holdup? Why, especially here in Grand Bahama, we are suffering?
According to reports, some 20% of staff were laid off at the resort. And as for the other employees, another decision will have to be made as of October 1st. The resort is expected to remain closed until November. However, the employee says that their problem is not with the resort. Their issue is with NIB. They're looking for answers and would like the powers that be to address the situation.
We did everything. So the form online, as they requested, they have all of our information. But the question is, why is there some time between their paycheck and their hire, and it is very fast? And the people who receive money at the bank, we receive less money from us, They keep saying they have a problem with the system. If you have a computer system and you have a problem, go back to the manual and make the checks of manual, let us collect it from the office. But it's the turning around. I feel as if I don't know who is telling the truth.
Now, we reached out to Director at NIB, Nicola Virgil Roll, who says she is not aware of any issues with that particular institution. She notes that about 7,000 individuals have not verified continued unemployment, which is required by law, and that is the main reason why there have been payment strains.
We would encourage anybody who has a challenge and has not been paid to email into UEB resolution, and we can look at your matter individually. There's most likely an individual matter involving your case. And so we have an email that we publicize where we ask people who have had difficulties receiving any payments, and we go through each case and we see what the challenge is, and so we can help to resolve it.
Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Well, as new COVID-19 numbers continue to rise across the country, the COVID-19 Enforcement Task Force is hard at work tracking those persons on the other side of the break. Here are the details behind their efforts.
Hi, welcome to Dream Girls. We offer a wide variety of hair care, and your everyday beauty needs.
Here at Dream Girls, we carry a wide variety of products for natural or relaxed hair, such as ORS, Pure Care, and Shea Moisture. We also carry a large selection of weaving, braiding, and crochet hair. You can expect to find a private wig room, a large variety of products, and service with a smile. Whether you're shopping for a party, a corporate event, or your everyday working woman, Dream Girls can make your dream become a reality. Live your dream, experience your dream, Dream Girls.
We have 3 convenient locations to serve you: Village Road Shopping Center, Prince Charles Shopping Center, and Legacy Plaza located on Prince Charles next to BTC Cash and Go. Here at Dream Girls, enhancing beauty becomes your reality.
Welcome back to the Morning Edition. A new COVID-19 enforcement unit established at the Cable Beach Police Station to monitor those individuals in quarantine. Lloyd Allen is at that facility and has more details.
Well, good morning again, Ladon. Good morning, Bahamas. This morning, we're here at the COVID-19 Enforcement Unit located at the Cable Beach Police Station. And I'm speaking with Chief Superintendent, Mr. Zhivago Dames, who's in charge of this unit. Good morning, Mr. Dames, and welcome to the Morning Edition.
Good morning, Bahamas.
So talk to us a bit about when this unit first got established and your labor behind efforts in managing cases.
Well, the COVID-19 Command Center here at Cable Beach Station actually started just over a week ago. We have the role of ensuring that the public adhere to the COVID-19 orders, to ensure that the business establishment are adhering to the COVID-19 orders. In addition to that, the COVID-19 Command Center is responsible for ensuring that all those persons who are in quarantine are adhering to the protocols.
Now, I see that you have a number of officers set up here. Talk to us about your initial workforce in here and what's expected over the next few weeks.
We actually start the COVID Command Center with some 25 reserve officers. These reserve officers actually took training on the Hubcat platform to ensure that they know how to onboard the persons who will be going in quarantine, to ensure they know how to download the app, and of course to ensure that they know how to geofence persons who will be going into quarantine. We will also, in the not-too-distant future, be adding some 100 persons, ambassadors, into the COVID-19 center. They will have also the responsibilities of going out into the public, monitoring the beaches, monitoring hot sites, monitoring cultural sites, monitoring those areas where persons will be traversing within our community, to ensure that those persons are adhering again to the COVID-19 orders, make sure that they are social distancing as they should, make sure persons that should be wearing their masks, that they are wearing their masks out in the public.
Now, of course, as we've seen from the video this morning, your officers are hard at work from early morning. Give us some more details behind the idea of geofencing and what happens in the event that someone is identified not to be in location.
Thank you. So once you have been identified to go on to the Hubcat platform, that app, as I've said, is downloaded onto your instrument. We also make sure that those persons are quite aware that they are always to be in possession of their phones, that their phones are always to be on, and that their actually locations are always to be on. And so once you have been identified, you get to your residence. This unit is responsible that when you get to your residence to do a virtual fence around your area. And so if you were to leave that area or that virtual fence, then an alarm will be monitored here at the monitoring center. We'll pick up an alarm here at the monitoring center. And once we pick up that alarm or get an alert from you, the dispatchers here will dispatch an ambassador to your area to ensure, again, that you are following the COVID-19 orders.
And now up to this point, of course, I have to ask, any challenges?
Well, with any system, there's always some challenges. But I say it would be more so on the side of those persons who are in quarantine, sometimes not adhere to the protocols. And so the unit, again, is here to ensure that those persons who should be in quarantine are doing just what they should be doing, staying within that virtual geofence. And so we want to say to those persons who are actually in quarantine to please follow the protocol. It's for all of our safeties.
Now, as we wrap up, of course, many persons will look at this unit as the key or gate holders for COVID cases in the country. Any final words as far as advice for the public?
Yes. Amidst this pandemic, the Bahamas and indeed the world has experienced a level of uncertainties that is unprecedented. I want to remind the Bahamian people of two things: that our certainty is in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I want to also remind you that the Royal Bahamas Police Force, under the leadership of Paul Roll, will be committed and dedicated to ensuring that the Bahamian people remain safe, visitors and residents alike.
And of course, the final reminder, stay away from those beaches because they are being monitored. Reporting here from the enforcement unit located at the Cable Beach Police Station for the morning edition, Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
Thanks a lot, Lloyd. This morning we profile a top-ranking female police officer who sets the pace for many other females on the force. Here's Charles Fisher.
Chief Superintendent Talinda Mizik has spent 37 years on the Royal Bahamas Police Force. She was part of that historic first ever all-female D squad enlisted back in 1983.
We got along pretty well. It was interesting, motivating. Initially, I was interested in joining the service, and then somehow I sort of moved away from that. I was only after my father indicated, you know, if you do not seek employment, then you will go back to your birthplace, which is Medwana. So I really didn't want that. So I enlisted, and when the call was made, I went forward. 6 months in training with some amazing women. We got along very well. From that 21 all-female squad, we have our first female Deputy Commissioner of Police, Ismaila Davis Delancey. We have our first female Assistant Commissioner of Police, Loretta Mackey, responsible for Family Island. The three major divisions in New Providence and the most challenging districts are headed by female officers. And that is the Central Division, headed by Chief Superintendent Mary Mitchell. You have the Eastern Division, commonly known as Elizabeth Estate Police Station, which is headed by Chief Superintendent Linda Moxie. And then you have the Southeastern Division, headed by yours truly, Chief Superintendent Mizik.
In those 37 years, she has worked in about every unit.
After leaving the police training college, I would have been deployed to Southern Division. From there, I went on to Police Control Room. From there, I went to Human Resources, where I spent 6 years. And then from there, I came to East Street South Police Station, where I did another stint for 6 years. I then moved on to the Traffic Division, spent a little bit of time there, and then moved on to Western Division, spent 6 years. then on to Strategic Policy and Planning Branch, did another 6 years there. And then from there I went to Interpol, National Central Bureau, where I did 13 years. And then I came back to the Southeastern Division as of May 5th.
As one of 3 females in charge of districts in New Providence, that says a lot.
It's a clear indication that female officers have the ability to command any area of the organization and is receiving due recognition and the confidence of the decision makers.
In what many consider a male-driven career, is there any resistance sometimes from the general public or her male peers?
I do not get that sense of feeling as I move about in the community. The residents are elated to know that we have a female at the helm. I do not get any kickbacks from my male counterparts. We work shoulder to shoulder with each other and we hold one another's hand as we move along. I have a number of male officers in my leadership team and they support me wholeheartedly.
And any advice for young ladies thinking about joining the force?
Do not listen to the naysayers. There's a lot of areas in the force that they can apply themselves. You have the forensic lab, you have crime scene investigations, you have the dispatchers, you have officers that are on the front line now working right alongside their male counterparts in the mobile division. You have the investigative unit of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. You have the intelligence unit. You have so many areas. You have the air wing. So many areas that can pique their interest.
In our next story, we will be speaking about the initiatives for the Southeastern District. For the Morning Edition, I'm Charles Fisher.
Having a physical disability is by all accounts difficult, but imagine having a life-threatening disease that lurks in the shadows, invisible to the world. For one woman who lives this fate, she has decided to fight back. Here's Lloyd Allen.
Imagine waking daily with constant headaches, fatigue, dizziness, vomiting, and even developing scoliosis. While for 45-year-old kindergarten teacher Vanessa Ramming, living has become literally a fight, and it all started 2 years ago.
I was studying to certify myself as a Montessori teacher at the time, and I went, because I have back issues from past injuries that turned to rise, so I went to see if a surgeon can help me render the nerve down pain. But when they did the MRIs, he came back and said, I need to get somebody else to look at you, a neurosurgeon. And that's when he came and saw the MRI, and I had to do more MRIs to confirm that what I had.
Devastated at the time, Vanessa says her saving grace came from immediate family support. But over time, she explained even that was not enough to prevent a decline in her day-to-day life.
As simple as driving the car, getting dressed, and I'm a preschool teacher, which is very active. And the stuff I used to do with my students, I can't really do anymore. You know, show them how to dance, sing songs, run to the playground, race with them. I can't do that anymore.
Vanessa says the worst part of having Chiari malformation are the symptoms.
If you stick me with a needle in my arms, I won't feel it because the nerves and the numbness. I can't lift my arm up to even give a high five or anything when I get it. And then the headaches is being the lower part of my neck right here. And it's like a pressure to where my head feels too heavy for my neck.
Despite her grim prognosis, she has decided to fight back. Deciding to have a corrective surgery, Vanessa has turned to her family and friends for help and has also orchestrated an art showcase at the Blake Road Community Center to not only educate, but inspire.
We got to keep fighting because we cannot let it stop us from being us, stop you from being you. We could get up, we could fight, we could just keep going and speak up. It's okay to let people know that you're not having a good day.
A number of accounts have been established in her name along with a GoFundMe page titled Vanessa Fund Me to assist in mounting medical bills. But she says throughout it all, Chiari malformation has taught her that once there is life, there remains hope. For the Morning Edition, Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
So we've got more news right after this. You're watching The Morning Edition.
Today is a day for fun. Today is a day for family. So why should yesterday's worries affect my today? That's why I insure my family with J.S. Johnson, because their mission is to provide us with the best insurance coverage possible. With J.S. Johnson, I know my family comes first, so I take comfort in knowing that they always have us covered, providing us with a great today and an even better tomorrow.
J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
Bahamians have cooked with the bird, chili, and goat peppers to enhance the seasoning in their daily cuisine. But this morning, we share the story of a local farmer who has been growing a variety of peppers that he says some of your taste buds may have a very hard time handling. Take a look.
At this point in time, produce probably with the real hot, the Moruga scorpion, I could probably produce maybe 6 bottles per week.
Electrical contractor Calvo Farquharson has pursued farming as a hobby for more than 30 years and has been growing and bottling at least 7 different flavors of peppers from his 8-acre farm off Cowpen Road. The flaming hot peppers are given 4 months to blossom and are scattered in pockets across the commercial farm. While I didn't dare to sample any of these extremely hot peppers, Farquharson gave us a breakdown on the history of the local produce.
One is the regular cayenne pepper that us local Bahamians know, the regular goat pepper, then I have the Moruga scorpion pepper, then the Scotch bonnet yellow, the Scotch bonnet red, the ghost pepper. These particular peppers were chosen by me because each one of them have a different level of Schofields. For those who don't know what Schofield is, Schofield is the heat level that the pepper is measured by. In fact, it was named after this guy who started this pepper thing. But now they have a precise machine that measures the actual heat of these pepper.
Farquharson says Bahamians trickle onto his commercial farm in search of the regular peppers for purchase. With the high demand for the extraordinary peppers, Calvo says he's now being forced to increase production 5-fold. However, he says he's not surprised to see customers getting hooked on the extraordinary peppers.
First, when I started to produce them, I said, one of people is going to like these peppers. One of these peppers is going to move. That's why as the fruit came to fruition, I say, okay, instead of these guys going to rot, because pepper will rot quick, I started to process them in a pickled pepper form. And it's been selling real good. If you want to visit the docks and the exchange, you might see bags of pepper just rotting. That's because we have an overflux, glut of regular peppers. We've already grown out of this particular pepper. That's by telling a lot of people. So my son and I go on the internet, like I said, we researched these peppers through a mutual friend of ours in the States, and I imported unusual peppers. And I got the information on everything so that when I sell these things, I'll be able to explain, hey, this ain't a regular pepper, this ain't no goat pepper, this ain't a regular finger pepper.
Now, Calvo's favorite pepper is the Jamaican Scotch bonnet. He says the ghost pepper is the second hottest in the world. Leading the flaming hot peppers is Dragon Breath, a pepper Calvo says Bahamians are not able to handle just yet.
I still can get the seed and started off for a show and for a challenge, but I think right now, unless somebody really asks me to mass produce them because of from an ordering, I'm a standpoint, say, hey, I need 5-6 balls this a week.
A man is dead and home homicide detectives are determined to figure out who did it. Police tell us the incident took place just before 3 p.m. At the time, a male driver was parked in front of a home on Parnyard Road awaiting his passenger when a burgundy Nissan Cube pulled alongside him. We understand the male passenger of that vehicle exited, pulled out a handgun and shot the driver before hopping back into the getaway car. The wounded man was rushed to hospital where he died soon after. Now to your weather forecast this morning. In the general situation, an upper-level trough is enhancing shower activity over the northwest and central Bahamas. Weather will be generally partly sunny, hot and humid with a few scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Conditions mainly fair and warm at night with a chance of isolated showers. In the southeast Bahamas, weather sunny, hot and humid with a chance of isolated showers, mainly fair and warm at night. Daytime high temperature is 91 degrees and overnight low temperature is 81 degrees. And remember to stay tuned to the ZNS Network, your best choice for local, regional and international COVID-19 coverage. And that's a wrap for us this morning. For the entire team, I'm LaDawn Davis. Make it a great day, everyone.